So this is testing out our camera arrangements, is that I have a camera pointed at me and a camera pointed at the manipulables, so that we can hopefully make it a little bit of an easier learning experience for you. So what I have in front of me are a couple of cups, and one of the other things that you are going to need tonight is you're going to need some vegetable oil. Doesn't matter, canola oil will also work just as well. And in your kit, though if you don't have your kit yet, you will soon have these in your kit, is you're going to have two rods. You've got a glass rod and you've got a plastic rod. The plastic one is obvious because it's flexible, so you can bend it a bit. The glass rod is not, so be careful with it. They're also a little fragile. And this is something called a science snack. This is often a piece of instruction that you can do prior to a larger unit. It's a way of motivating, capturing, engaging student interest, and getting them to think about something that is unusual. It's getting them to wonder, why does that happen? So you should have also in your kit two plastic cups. Some of you will have these little graduated cylinder type of cups. I use these for making epoxy tables and things like that. Some of you will just have clear plastic cups. It doesn't matter. Clear plastic cups are fine. And we're not going to be that precise on most of our measurements that we're going to use. So one of the things that I want you to do is we're going to start with water. And it's important that we start with the water first. Is you're going to stick in your glass rod and observe, and see what happens to it. All right, can you still see it? Right? Does it look like anything funny is going on? You know, anything like that? Right? I can still see it. My water is a little cold, so it kind of fogs up a little bit. So if you've got cold water, just wipe off the edge of your glass. All right. Okay. Now, plastic rod. Okay. Now, one of the things that we often do in science is something called a predict, observe, explain. So we're going to make a prediction, then we're going to observe it, then we're going to try to explain what might have happened. And at this point, every explanation is a good one because we're just trying to make sense of the world. And that's what students do all the time, right? And they've come up with some pretty creative explanations for why things happen because they're just trying to make sense of things that they see. So let's think about what's different here. This is plastic. It's still clear, right? So what's going to happen to it? So I'm going to stick it in. And now let's see, do you see anything that's any different? All right. So let's stick it in there. All right. Here's my plastic rod. All right. Here's my glass rod. All right. Looks like you can still see them. Anything else? Okay. All right. So you can look from above, and you can see if anything funny is happening from above. All right. All right. So they should appear bent, right, because we're demonstrating the process of refraction. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do this with oil. So get your rods out, dry them off, you know, whatever that you have handy. And we're now going to fill up one of our glasses with some oil. Okay. Plain old veggie oil. I've got a third cup here because this is the messy part of the science snack. All right, so got my glass rod. All right, remember our predict, observe, explain? Let's think about what's going to happen when we put our glass rod in. Is it going to act different than the water? So you're probably thinking at this point, well, this is a science class, so the answer may be yes, but the only way to know is let's test it out. Okay? So let's put it in. Do you see anything unusual about the glass? Again, you can peek around, you can look at it from above. Okay. Now, as a comparison, I've got an extra glass rod here, and I've got it put in the water again. So let's take a look at the two of them. Here's my glass rod in the water. There's my glass rod in the oil. Okay. Anything weird going on? Okay, we're going to talk about what might be weird. Now I've got my plastic rod. Okay. Now let's stick it in the oil. Same idea. Let's predict, observe, explain. Okay. What is different now with the plastic rod and the glass rod when you look at it? So let's look in from above. Here's my plastic rod, right? I'm wiggling it. Here's my glass rod. Question is, what is going on? My glass rod looks invisible now in the oil, right? This looks like it's completely cut off. You can kind of see it if I get it at exactly the right angle, but it's completely gone. Whereas my glass rod, on the other hand, right, I can still see it, right, as I move it around. Interesting question. So, what is going on?